Tonight, Cole Henry. Saturday afternoon will be Landon Marceau, and Sunday will be A.J. Labus.
What went into deciding between Marceau and Davis in your spots?
They're both so close in abilities. It could have very easily been the other way around, but I just thought, we ended the season last year with Henry number one and Marceau number two, and Marceau's kind of got a little bit of that big game experience, and I just thought, the game two is such a pivotal game in a weekend series that we ought to go with a guy that had a little bit more experience, and so that's why we're going with Landon Marceau second.
Coach said a couple of weeks ago you didn't have a lineup. You had to get some things.
What are those people doing? I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry.
You said a couple of weeks ago you didn't have a lineup. You had to get some things to unfold. Any close? I'm not asking you for a lineup, but what has happened in the 2 weeks that you were looking to see happen?
So I can't give you a lineup because I honestly don't know what the lineup will be. I did talk to their coach today, and he told me who was starting for them, but he didn't know which order. They have one left-handed starting pitcher. That would be a factor that would play into it, and whether he's pitching game one or game two. But what we have, Tommy, is kind of come up with like 3 different combinations of lineups. One of them would be the most experienced group that we could put out there on the field, and I generally like to play the most experienced players on opening day, just because for some of the young kids, they get here, they practiced every day, but when they get here on opening night and there's 12,000 people and the bright lights are on, it's kind of an eye-opener for them. But we're going to end up probably playing at least one freshman, if not 2, plus a new player in Zach Mathis. So I think it's going to be a little bit unavoidable. But that's one lineup. A second lineup could be, actually there's 4 lineups. No, 3. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That lineup would probably be our best combination of offense and defense. The second possibility is to have our best defensive infield out there with our best offensive outfield, but then sacrificing a little bit of defense in the outfield. And then our third possibility is to have our best defensive outfield, but our best offensive infield, and that would be sacrificing a little bit of defense in the infield. So, I have an idea about who the players, the top 12, 13 players are, but I think what you're going to see is some variations of the lineup at least through the first couple of weeks until we get a little bit more of a feel for what the best combination is. And we may continue doing that even after.
Coach, the one scrimmage I came to, Milazzo was throwing guys out on the base pass pretty well. Is he going to be an asset in that regard?
He's going to continue to do that. Not only does he have a strong arm, but it's a very accurate arm, and he gets rid of the ball extremely quick. He can virtually throw like a shortstop does from different arm angles. If the pitch is low and outside, he's liable to backhand it and sidearm the ball to second base. If the ball is, a pitch up or down the middle, he'll get on top of the throw and get a little bit more juice behind it. But whichever angle of his arm he throws with it, he's extremely accurate. I'm not sure, maybe Papirski was as accurate, but I think Milazzo's probably got a quicker release and a little bit stronger arm. So he's an asset for us defensively. And he's going to need some time to grow with the bat like any freshman would. But he's, during the fall, he swung the bat well. This spring, he's not swung it as well as he did in the fall. But he's going to catch at least one of the games that weekend against Indiana. If Saul's feeling great and doing fine, he'll catch probably Friday and Sunday, and Milazzo would catch on Saturday. But Saul's been, dealing with, he had surgery on his thumb, and he missed a couple of days of practice this week with some tendonitis in that thumb. We don't think it's anything more serious than that, but a couple of days rest. Yesterday was the first day he had swung a bat, I think, since Monday. Maybe it was Sunday, I can't remember. But no, we didn't practice Sunday, so it was on Monday was the last time he swung a bat. So, he has a tendency sometimes to get these little nicks, and if that were to happen, we got to make sure we get very similar to the pitching staff, we got to make sure we keep Saul healthy and not beat him up by overdoing it too early in the season.
Coach, cold weather school like this opening up,
guys probably been indoors taking ground balls on a gym floor. How much of that do you look into guys just making contact, put the ball in play, use the speed?
Well, the truth of the matter is Indiana has had a pretty mild winter. I talked to the coach today. They've been outside several days, actually. They have an artificial turf field. And then if they are forced inside, the days of taking ground balls on gym floors are over. They have indoor facilities just like we have over there at Football Ops. So they're going to be well prepared and ready to go. There's no question about it. And Indiana make no mistake about it, Indiana is an SEC caliber team. Last year, Michigan played in the championship round against Vanderbilt. Well, they weren't the Big Ten champions. Indiana was the Big Ten champions. They had 10 players drafted off their team last year, and they've replaced them with some really quality players. Their starting rotation are all guys that pitched out of the bullpen for them last year that had excellent years. They're athletic. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see them. They're all good-sized kids, physical, strong. They led the nation in home runs last year. It's going to be a quality opponent. So I'm not so worried about, should we play the best defensive team because, these guys are just coming out of the gym or whatever, or should we just try to make them field the ball by bunting on them or anything? We're just going to go out and play the game the way we know how to play it and put the guys out there that we think are the best guys on a given day.
Some of the soft guys in the sophomore class like Bianco and Dugas, what do you kind of want to see from them going into their sophomore year? How crucial are they going to be this season?
Well, I think they're very crucial to our success, Wilson. You like to see guys go from their freshman year to their sophomore year and make a big jump. Greg Dykman didn't play much his freshman year, mostly because he had a broken foot and missed a good portion of the season. And by the time he came back, it was kind of like Dugas last year. By the time he came back, we're in the midst of the SEC schedule, and it's kind of hard to, have your spring training in the middle of the SEC schedule. But Dykman in his sophomore year was really great. And that's what you like to see out of guys like Bianco and Giacomo and Dugas, guys that played sporadically as freshmen, but then they make a big jump in their sophomore year. And they're going to be given every opportunity to prove that they can be the guys that make a difference for our team. And then they're going to have to get it done, or we'll have to try some other guys.
So Eric Walker will start at Nichols, is that?
We haven't decided the midweek starters for next week, Jacques, and that's an honest answer. So we're going to get through this weekend. You don't expect your starting pitchers to go deep into the game opening weekend. So I have a feeling we're going to be using virtually everybody out of the bullpen if necessary. And then after the weekend is over, we'll just kind of reevaluate where we are, who's available, who wasn't used that much. And having 2 midweek games is obviously a challenge in itself. But, our first midweek game is not Nichols, it's Southern on Tuesday. And everybody around here remembers playing Southern last year and getting whipped in that second game we played them. So in no way are we going to be taking them lightly, I can assure you of that.
Coach, what sort of information are you going to be looking for in the first series next week?
What kind of information? Relative to what are you talking about? Like
just the team in general. You said you're still looking to fill those starting roles in next week's starters. Just from now till then, what information are you looking for from the team to see?
After the weekend is over, or
yes,
before the weekend?
After
The weekend's over. Well, obviously the first goal is to win the games. All the games matter. The SEC games obviously are of most importance because you're playing for an SEC championship. But the other 26 games are factored into whether or not you're going to be a host, whether or not you're going to be a national seed. Heck, it could factor into just getting into the NCAA tournament. So we have to treat every game as though it's an SEC game. We're going to try to win and do what it takes to win within reason. I'm not going to send Cole Henry out there for 120 pitches on opening night. So what we're gonna really need for us to win the games this weekend is for our bullpen to really, obviously you want your starting pitchers to get you off to a good start, pardon the pun. But if they give you 4 or 5 innings, you're going to be pleased within their pitch limit, and then it's going to be up to the bullpen. If you want to win the games, then you're going to have several guys coming out of the bullpen pitching well. Obviously, you need to score some runs also, and you need, besides holding the team down with pitching, you need to play good defense. So you just want to see how quickly certain guys are going to, I've watched them now for several weeks out here, And then when you go into the games, it's kind of an extension of what we've been doing. So it's not like anybody's going to be hitting a panic button if you start making changes after 1 game or 2 games or 3 games, because we've been watching them for a month. It's not the first time, but you want to see which guy's going to take their game to another level once the real games begin.
Coach, the way that Zach Mathis ways he's kind of coming here, and his whole situation kind of coming here. I mean, you've talked about his story a lot during media day. I mean, how cool is it for him to finally be able to come out for opening day, and how excited do you think he is?
Zach, you'll have to ask him, but I'm sure that he's going to be overly amped, and I'm trying to keep him kind of calmed down because he's typically a very emotional kid. When it comes to baseball, he just loves the game and gives it everything he's got. He's been such a pleasure to have out here. Nobody works harder than him. He's got talent too. I mean, we had never seen him play when we recruited him. The story's been told many times. We lost a shortstop that we thought was going to be here with us, and we lost him late in the summer, and so we had to scramble. And Zach had originally signed with Cal State Northridge, but when their coach was let go, he didn't want to go there anymore. So we knew he was out there on the open market. We started calling all our friends on the West Coast. The coach, his junior college coach, happened to be one of the coaches that replaced me at the Air Force Academy, so I had a little relationship with him. And he told me that Zach was an outstanding hitter. His defense, was okay, but not great. Well, I think he underestimated Zach's defense. His defense has really been good all fall and this early portion of the spring. He's got a strong and accurate arm. He's got good hands. He could play third base or shortstop for us and do a very adequate job. But he loves to hit, and that's what he's told me throughout the recruiting process as well as since he's been here. And he can hit. He's going to be our 3-hole hitter on opening night.